Right. Welcome, everybody, to our benefits briefing. We are excited to be offering this every quarter for our administrators and employers of churches and nonprofits around the country. Today, our focus is all on insurance. So, we want to go over the different insurance benefits that we offer our employers, churches, and nonprofits around the country. I'm joined by Nicole Averett, CBB's Director of Benefits, and Owen Smith, our Senior Benefits Consultant with Hilb Group. So we're so excited that you all joining us. We'll be emailing out this recording at the end of the webinar. So before we get started, just a brief overview. We partner with Owen Smith and Hilb Group to provide our insurance. We have a group life LTD AD&D through Reliance, and then Owen is going to talk a little bit about the health insurance benefits that his office and firm can provide our employers. So before I go any further, I'm going to pass it off to Nicole to talk about our group life, long-term disability, and accidental death and dismemberment through Reliance.
Great. Thanks, Jenny. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole, and I appreciate everyone joining the call today. I'm going to take a few minutes just to review our package insurance policy. We know that for churches and nonprofits, navigating employee insurance can feel a little overwhelming. Our goal is to make that easier by offering solutions that are clear and flexible and built around the unique needs of ministries like yours. Church Benefits Board offers group life, long-term disability, and accidental death and dismemberment insurance. This policy is 100% employer paid and designed to provide peace of mind. The premium is pretty simple. It's based on 2% of the employee's compensation, and that includes taxable income and housing allowance. Just a brief summary of our insurance. Life insurance coverage is 4 times the employee's compensation, up to $500,000 max. Plus, it includes a $10,000 benefit for a spouse and a $5,000 benefit for dependent children up to the age of 26. Long-term disability policy replaces 60% of income if someone is unable to work. And our accidental death and dismemberment utilizes the life insurance benefit, adding a tiered payout depending on the type of the accidental loss. In addition, we also include access to employee assistance program services through All One Health. We can't forget about our mental health. It's just as important as our physical health. So through our employee assistance program, employees and their families can get support for a wide range of life challenges. Again, not just our mental health. That includes free counseling sessions, life coaching, financial and legal consultations, and even medical advocacy. And remember, this is a confidential resource that's there to help you with any real life issues that you may have. Next, that's the insurance. Next, I just want to go over a little bit of what our employee navigator portal looks like for employees when they're logging in. This is where your employee will go to view their insurance coverage, update their personal information, and make changes like updating beneficiaries. It's user-friendly, but I want to highlight the basics so you're aware of what your employees are seeing when they log into their portal. When an employee is first enrolled, they receive a registration email that walks them through the steps to log into their employee navigator portal. Like with any new system, questions can come up. Just have the employee reach out to us directly and we'll walk them through logging in. We're always here to help. The next slide is, so let's see. This is where they can update their personal information. Under the profile, they can update changes with their name, their mailing address, phone number, email, even their emergency contact and dependents. They simply will just click on the blue edit button on the right side of each section, make their updates and save them. It's a great way for employees to keep their information up to date and they don't have to fill out a form. When employees click the benefits tab at the top of the screen, they'll see a summary of their coverages, what plans they're enrolled in, and benefit amounts for each of them. For life insurance, remember again, it's based on 4 times the employee's compensation. The system calculates that based on their salary information that you've provided to us. So it's really important to keep that up to date. To keep salaries up to date, you can email us the compensation change form. You can find that on our website at churchbenefits.org/forms. And if an employee hasn't logged into their portal and added their dependents, those won't show up here on that benefits summary. For example, in this slide, you'll see that there aren't any dependents listed under life insurance. That means they either don't have any dependents or they haven't added them yet. It's really important that employees add their dependents when they first enroll. If it's missed, just let us know. We're happy to work directly with the employees to get their dependents added. The next slide is going to talk, it'll show beneficiaries. It's very important for all employees to have their beneficiary information on file. In the event something unexpected happens, having this information ready ensures the process goes smoothly. It allows us to act quickly, and it takes care of things at a time when their loved ones are already going through so much. If someone hasn't added a beneficiary yet or needs to change a beneficiary, they can do that right here in the portal by clicking the blue Edit Beneficiary button. Lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about enrolling in our insurance coverage. The process is very simple. We have a one-page enrollment application available on our website. Just go to churchbenefits.org/forms and click on the new enrollment form. Once the form is completed, just email it back to us at helpdesk@churchbenefits.org. The employee will receive an enrollment link by email to complete their enrollment, include the entering their beneficiary and dependent information. And then one last thing I just want to talk about is the billing for our insurance. We do use QuickBooks. Invoices are emailed out on the 15th of each month, and they're for the upcoming month's coverage. So for example, the invoices that are going out May 15th will be for coverage of June 1. And if your church is not already enrolled in our insurance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. Now I'll pass it back over to Jenny to continue the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. It's a great overview of that group life LTD ADD insurance. If you guys have any questions about that, if you're unsure if your church is participating, or if you'd like to get more information or us to help you figure out how much that would cost to enroll your employees, reach out to Nicole or I would be happy to provide a quote for you all. Next, I'm going to introduce Owen Smith. Owen, we've been partnering with Owen for at least 2 years now to help provide our insurance benefits for employers. A lot of people ask about health insurance. How can CBB help their church provide health insurance for their employees? This is where we partner with Owen's group at Hill Group so that they can quote and really get an understanding of what your church needs for your employees and quote different options that are there. So
taking a minute.
I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Owen, and take it away.
Perfect. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Nicole. It's good to be with everyone this afternoon. And yes, we are going to talk about health insurance, everyone's favorite topic. It's what I do all day, every day, so I tend to enjoy it. But admittedly, some people, it can get expensive and it's cumbersome. So let's kind of break down some of those things for the folks on the call today. I do, as Jenny mentioned, I've been working with Church Benefits Board for quite some time now. I've chatted with a lot of churches across the country, and they're generally in the same predicament. Not a ton of employees. We have to abide by the Affordable Care Act rules. Some of the employee population is on the older side of things, which can get very expensive. And so I usually coach folks on 3 different ways to obtain health insurance. And these are really about the only 3 ways. We have our group employer health plans, which is, of course, what most employers in the country do. This is where you write a contract between the employer, which would be the church, and one of the commercial carriers. Maybe you're with a Blue Cross Blue Shield entity in your state, United Healthcare, Cigna. These are some of the more common carriers that we recognize the names of. The thing with that is that you do have to have at least two people to set up a group contract. And frankly, it works even better if you have, three or four. So, when you only have two people to start with, you've got to have at least one. Some carriers require both to actually participate. So some of the smaller church employer groups do find it difficult to get a group employer health plan up and running. But certainly, if you are interested in that method, it can work. Certainly, plenty of churches are already doing that. And so that is sort of your first option. The second option is maybe you don't have two eligible employees, or maybe the church is just not interested in being the setting up that group type arrangement. You can have employees go directly to the marketplace. Either you're going to, depending on the state that you're in, you're going to either be with the federal marketplace.gov, or you might be in a state where they have created their own state exchange. So we at Hill Group are able to assist you or your coworkers or employees with those individual health plans. I will say that it can be a little bit cumbersome to go to the exchange and figure out, do I qualify for tax credits? How does the income qualification piece work? It's certainly, you don't want to mess that up. Otherwise, you've got, Uncle Sam coming after you to recoup the money. So you do want to be careful with that. I would definitely advise folks to work with a licensed agent and get help with those individual health plans. And of course, Hill Group can assist with that. The third option, and this is a little bit on the newer side, these individual coverage health reimbursement arrangements. In the insurance world, we love our acronyms, so we refer to this as an ICHRA. And you may have heard of this before, but this allows, well, let me back up. Historically, employers were unable to pay for individual health plans. So if I am, ABC Church, and I just say, I'm going to pay for this minister's individual health plan on a pre-tax basis. Historically, you used to not be able to do that. But in the first Trump administration, changes were put into effect that created an ICHRA, which provides a legitimate framework for employers to be able to, number one, pay for individual health plans using company dollars. Number two, the piece that the employee pays for, maybe you're splitting the cost. So the employer is paying for, let's say, half of the premium, and the employee is paying for the other half of the premium. An ICHRA allows that employee to have that pre-tax health deduction, as we're all used to on a group health plan. So basically, this third bullet point, an ICHRA allows individual health plans, so it's a contract between a single person and the insurance carrier. It allows those individual health plans to look and feel similar to a group policy. Again, the two main things being the employer can help to pay for that in a legitimate framework, and number two, the employee can have that pre-tax deduction. So I encourage you, if you haven't looked in ICHRA, you may want to think about that as opposed to just giving an employee or your minister, a stipend of money, which does not have any of those tax advantages built in. So this, again, that third bullet is a more legitimate framework to be able to help pay for an individual health plan. Okay, next slide, please. We will also touch on what we refer to as ancillary lines. So the medical is always sort of the big beast in the room are ancillary lines. We've got the dental, vision, short-term disability. Jenny and Nicole previously spoke about the long-term disability and the life insurance plan. I do have some churches that have come to me and said, hey, I want to look at a short-term disability policy that sort of fills that gap between the date that someone actually becomes disabled and when the long-term disability kicks in. Okay, so there is a waiting period there. Um, many churches that have enrolled in that wonderful long-term disability program with Reliance find that sufficient. But I have had a handful of churches that have said, hey, I would like something for the short-term duration before that long-term disability policy kicks in. Okay, so again, we can go to a variety of different carriers for for these ancillary lines to be able to round out an employee benefit package. Next up, I do also offer Medicare services. I'm very well versed in how Part A and Part B works, and I assist folks in helping them secure their Medigap, also known as the supplement, their Part D prescription drug plan, or Medicare Advantage. So that's really a one-on-one conversation to be able to help someone and decide, hey, which plan works best for me, what's available in my area. And so I do help folks walk through the transition from employer-sponsored health plans or individual health plans over to Medicare at age 65.
We're actually going to have another webinar later this week, right, Owen, with
Yes.
you going over the ABCs of Medicare. So that's Thursday, the 15th. If you guys would like, we can send that information out to you. We'll put it in our post email of ways that you can register for that as well.
Yep, perfect. Thanks for that little Medicare plug, Jenny.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
on Thursday I will be hosting a very educational meeting. It's really geared towards people that just want to understand it. It is not a sales presentation. We're not going to be digging into any specific carriers or pricing. It's really just come and listen and educate yourself on how this works. So that is on Thursday of this week. Okay, there's a lot of insurance programs out there, so we've got one more slide. We can also quote a variety of individual products. So maybe folks in your organization are looking for additional life insurance above and beyond perhaps what the Reliance program offers. We have access to term life carriers, whole life carriers. We can quote long-term care, whether that be a standalone long-term care policy or coupled with a universal life policy. And we can also quote long-term disability. Maybe your church hasn't jumped into the Reliance program that is offered. It is possible to get just an individual long-term disability proposal. So I've done a few of those over the years. And so any of these individual programs we have access to and can help anyone price and understand the benefit of those types of policies.
Wonderful. Thank you, Owen. And we can't thank you enough for the partnership. There are so many laws and regulations around health insurance, and so it is invaluable to be able to partner with Owen and his team to be able to provide him and his team as a resource for our churches and employers. If you guys have questions, if your employees come to you about needing solutions in any of these insurance realms, know that you can come to us and we can help connect you with a professional like Owen who can assist you. So I'm gonna, for our people who are watching the recording, thank you guys for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording for now, and then we're gonna enter into our Q&A session for those who are joining us live.